Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Wednesday show. It's going to be a good night because I think I've got everything fixed and working properly. I made some changes to the Rumble stream. I went out of my way and did a lot of work and basically changed the order on the left-hand side. This time, Jen's on top. That sounded dirty. I didn't mean to make it sound dirty. Anyway, I don't know what else to do to change it. So wait a minute, Jen is
always on top. What are you talking about?
Well, maybe I should rephrase this. Terry is in the middle.
Yep.
On the YouTube stream, and now Jen is on the middle of the Rumble stream.
Okay.
Let's get away from the top and the bottom talk, okay? I don't want to get embarrassed here. Anyway. And we should say hi to everybody in chat. The Cynic is out there. Welcome. I saw Keeverdam and well,
the stream is already over, just so you know.
It's what?
The stream is already over, just so you know.
Oh, why? Is Jack here? Yeah,
oh,
Jack,
yeah, he is.
I see it.
Hi, Jack.
Hey, Jack. Green Badger Outdoors, right on time. And I think I saw, Mr. Adam. How's it going? Mr. Adam is our weekend streamer. And that's everybody. Yeah, we have to quit the stream already because Jack's here. Let's go ahead and go over the topics for tonight, see if we actually end up getting to them. First one is Ohio Dawn. Nobody seems to understand what this is. Trump's first name is Donald. Ohio Dawn is making reference to the fact that before Buttigieg could get to Ohio, Trump went there first and started buying everybody water and stuff like that. So he's already doing what the government hasn't done yet. And then the second topic is hot and cold. For anybody who's in the States or close to the States, namely Canada, there's a winter storm moving its way across the nation. And it's basically hitting the West Coast and South, I think. And everyone there is getting very cold temperatures, winter storms. Or is it? No, it's West and North that's getting the storms. And the South is getting a heat wave. So there's a 100-degree difference between states in the South and states in the North. 100 degrees between the two. So it's kind of climate changey, but I'm, who believes in that anyway? And then finally, Bend High. Bend High School is a high school in Oregon. They trended today because there was supposedly a school shooting. And of course, a hashtag went crazy and all that kind of stuff. And it turned out that it was not true. So all the people out there yelling and screaming that, it's here we go again, another school shooting, blah, 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 blah. It was a hoax. And apparently there's somebody who is calling in hoaxes on a regular basis now. And here's the kicker. They're not in the United States.
Oh.
They're calling in overseas to schools, to cops, about schools in their area from outside the United States. It's not in Canada. It's not continental. So, yeah.
And why are they taking that without questioning it?
I don't understand why the cops take any of it without questioning. If somebody calls in something, they should say, okay, who are you? Give me your phone number. Where are you located before we do anything?
Yeah. Like, because how the fuck would you know? Like, don't get me wrong. I do understand the internet can give you information every once in a while. In a blue moon? In a blue moon.
Well, people are getting swatted, and it's just because the cops aren't doing their job.
I think it just makes sense to do at least a little questioning before you just blindly accept every call that the police station receives.
Yeah. And I would start to call them out because honestly, I get why they can't look into every weird thing that they find. Like, they don't have the resources for that kind of bull crap. Which is why if you find out the guy is a punk and they've done it more than once, maybe that thing called a fine for wasting human resources and time from the cops might apply.
If they're not in America, how are they going to find him? Like if
Well-
I called the United States,
But
It's a
Hammer
prank
just said
call.
that they knew he was from overseas. So like,
Yeah.
and they said he was from the UK. So
Who said he's from the
You-
UK?
I thought you said he was from the UK.
No, he's outside the continental United States,
Oh, okay.
but we don't know where. It could be Australia. It could be Terry doing this.
Yeah, well,
They
I
could
mean,
still they could still
I've been
find you.
advised
They
to
could still
trust nothing.
find you. I'm not saying that that would be a good waste of resources, but yeah, they could still find you. It's just if they're doing it more than once, I can understand using the resources to find the motherfucker, because that could lead to someone actually killing someone. You do know that, right?
Yeah. It's not you, Terry, right?
It's just the repeat offenders that I'm talking about. I'm
I
not
have been
talking
advised
about,
to
you know.
confess to nothing.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
I'm assuming it's Russia.
KVDN says it could be a Kiwi, and that sounds about right. I wouldn't trust those guys.
Could
Guessing
also-
Russia, to be honest with you. I don't even think it's China. I think it's Russia. Because we're not in really good terms with them right now. So someone in Russia could say, oh, those fucking Americans, blah, 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 blah. I'm going to cause all kinds of strife and fear and confusion and all that kind of shit. I'm going to get back at them. Just like a citizen in Russia, you know, or maybe somebody in the military or something like that. So I don't think it's government. They don't want to get traced back. So, yeah, but it trended and people were complaining until they found out it was a hoax. Then they had to shut up real quick. It really gets to be
KVDN says
annoying.
maybe it's Moldova. I don't know what's in Moldova. That's
I don't even know where that is. Is that somewhere near
I think
Ukraine?
it's like Eastern Europe.
Oh, there's a bunch of countries around Russia. Crimea was I guess, is Crimea a province or was that a country?
I don't know.
And then there's a couple of countries in that area, or maybe they're provinces. I don't know. But anyway.
I just really hope that there is a river in Crimea. That's all I want. I just want the Crimea River.
Crimea River.
That has to exist somewhere.
Wouldn't that
on
be
the
funny
planet.
if the river was called the Crimea River?
Yeah, that'd be awesome.
That would be awesome. But yeah, I mean, when it comes right down to what's going on with Ukraine, I still don't understand it. I've tried several times researching it and trying to figure out really what the idea is, because Russia keeps saying that they don't want a NATO country on their border, but Finland's on their border and it's a NATO country. So what are they complaining about? They already have countries on their border that are NATO countries. So what does it matter if it's just one more? Is it because
I think it's because of which one it is more than that it's another
because
one.
it's Ukraine and a former Soviet state?
Yeah.
That's why. And Finland never was.
Also, Finland never really wanted to go to war with Russia. Like, Finland, as tough as they are, and I say that as somebody who respects the people who can shoot from there. Like, I know the top shooters are usually American, Canadian, or Finland, funny enough. But they never really wanted to go to war with the Russians anyway, because Russians are kind of crazy. Like, they are. But at the same time, though, I think part of the problem is Ukraine themselves. Like, I hate to break it to them, but if you're constantly causing fights too, I wouldn't trust you either.
Susan, she's joking. We love Ukraine.
No, I love Ukraine. I actually do love Ukraine.
I don't.
I just think that it takes two people in a fight to cause a fight, and acting as though they aren't a part of that, and acting as though the stuff that they're doing with the US isn't part of that. Like, I am so uncomfortable with the stuff I see Biden doing. I am so uncomfortable with the stuff that I see our guys doing. Like, they might as well just declare war on Russia. I'm like, why won't you just be honest and say it then? I don't want a war with Russia. I don't want a war at all. I don't agree with what they're doing in Ukraine. I do think things could be settled better with better peace talks, but Biden certainly isn't capable of that. And my guy would like us to be China. You know, because I think he thinks China's maybe nicer than the Russian way. I don't know. Either way, I'm not happy with the thought. So no, say no to drugs.
Hiverdam says that Crimea is a Ukrainian peninsula. That's the geography. I don't know if that's. I'd have to look it up, and I really don't care that much about it one way or the other. But I just know it's attached or close by, whatever. Well, and it's not like Ukraine is innocent here.
No,
because they've done stuff like block waterways and stuff like that. So areas can't get water, and they've done some. And there's entirely too many Nazis there too. That's another thing that bothers me about it. I see images coming out of, or videos coming out of Ukraine where people are sea isling, man. It's just kind of like big smile, big smile, big smile, you know? I rather use that as the pejorative instead of what they're actually saying. But they're all sticking their arm up in the air and they're all saying big smile, big smile. And I'm like, I can't get behind that. Quickly, Opinionated Scotsman and JB and OG Costin have all joined us in chat. Hello, gentlemen.
Hello.
So yeah, that's the deal with them. But did you guys want to talk about Ohio or the hot and cold, or did you have something else on your mind?
We could talk about.
I was thinking about the way they're rewriting Roald Dahl's books to make them more appropriate for modern audiences, or whatever.
Did you hear about that, Jen?
Which books? I remember hearing something, but I couldn't remember the author.
Yeah, so they're basically taking all of his old books and they're saying, yeah, we don't actually use the word fat anymore. And they're just like rewriting his books to make them more quote unquote acceptable to modern audiences.
Palatable, yeah.
Which I think is completely obscene. I think that is like
they got
the most
permission.
Disgusting thing I've heard in a long time.
They got permission.
And that's terrible.
This is worse than Imagination Land. At least in Imagination Land, you had original characters who thought they were like real or something. In this land, it's just a bunch of bitter people who are bitter about facts.
I think the people like the estate of Roald Dahl sold the rights to Netflix, and that's
why, really?
Yeah, and that's why they're making all these changes, is because like it's out of the estate's hands now. It's like Netflix owns it; they can do what they want with it, and so they're butchering it like they do with everything else.
So it's Netflix that's doing this?
Yep.
I'm pretty sure. I mean, I've seen Netflix mentioned, and I've heard them say that they own the rights. Like,
why would Netflix be involved in books? They make movies.
Maybe they want the rights to the book so that they can make TV shows and movies without constant negotiations.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, that's exactly what we're talking about when we're talking about J.K. Rowling and stuff like that. Yeah. She kept the rights to her work, but allowed them to make movies. Apparently,
yeah, but every time they make a new one, they've got to renegotiate with her. Whereas if they just own the property, the IP outright,
they do whatever they want.
They can do what they want.
I've always respected her for that move. In all honesty, it's probably been her most boss move ever, and I think other
like
people.
Her.
Listen, I've never agreed with her on everything, because some stuff she says I think is her being a little bit out of touch. But she's a celebrity. When you get to a certain point, I can imagine you being a little bit out of touch. Even if you were a homeless person at one point in your life, being in a billionaire mansion, I do think you could be a little bit out of touch. But I agree with her on many things. I also still respect her despite the fact that I don't agree with her on everything. I never burnt my books. I never called out people for reading them, ever. I never assumed somebody's mental state because she didn't agree with me on stuff. It was just more like, oh, well, that's kind of disappointing. I think you're a little crazy in that regard. But you don't have to agree with everybody on everything, you know?
Eddie Izzard did a routine about celebrities who end up being out of touch because they live in a completely different world, a world of they don't have any needs, everything's taken care of, and they can do pretty much, they have fuck you money, they can do whatever they want. As Rogan always says, they have fuck you money. And he does it. Obviously I can't do him, but he says, "Hello, I'm the queen. What do you do?" And the person says, "I'm a plumber." And she says, "Oh, whatever on earth is that?" It's a plumber, man. Everybody knows what a plumber is, but not her, because when was the last time she had to fix anything, you know? And that's the same way it is for American celebrities. They just don't.
Opinionated Scotsman says it's well, he says Penguin who owns it, but it's Puffin, the book publisher, that is making the changes.
Yeah. So they're making the changes so Netflix can do a movie? Is that how that's the relationship is?
Something like that.
Gotcha.
I have heard Netflix mentioned in regards to this.
Yeah. Oh, I wonder, is there a parent company to Penguin that's a subsidiary of Netflix or something like that? You got to wonder what all the background, this person owns that, and this person owns that, you wonder if...
Yeah. I don't know how everything is integrated. So.
Yeah.
But I do know Puffin is the kids' line of Penguin, and I only know that because one of the series of books that I was absolutely obsessed with as a kid, I'm still on the forums that discusses those books today.
Really?
And so we've got the Puffin releases of the books, so that's constantly mentioned, so that's why I know it.
How many times have I heard on Twitter and on YouTube from content creators to always have a hard copy? Always make sure you have a hard copy, because if you have a soft copy, they can just, Netflix will say, well, we're just not going to carry this anymore. Or Steam can say, we're not going to support this game anymore. And the money that you've paid, the digital copy that you have, it's just gone. You just can't play it anymore.
Yeah.
That's why I'm not really worried about Heroes of the Storm, because I didn't pay for it. It's free to play, and there's no advertisements in it. It's just free to play. So if they kill the servers, I didn't lose any money out of pocket.
Have you paid for any of the skins? Because I know you've got a whole bunch of them. Have you paid for any of them?
Most of the skins and stuff. See, I have a bunch of accounts. Most of the skins I've gotten through boxes that you earn by playing the game.
Okay. Because I know that their whole business model is they sell the skins. You can earn them in game, but a lot of people just no, I want this one. I'll pay $1 to own it. I have
a primary account, then I have 6 non-primary accounts, and the non-primary accounts, I play all of them every day, but the non-primary accounts I just play to finish the quests. Quests are given out at 6:00 a.m. every day, but my primary account, the one that I started first, that account I pay for skins. Because I was going through winning boxes and not getting the skins that I wanted. The other ones, if I don't get the skin, I don't care. It doesn't make a difference to me. But my primary account, I want it to look a certain way. So I had that account long before the other ones. And every year, the Blizzard gives out a banner. And if you're playing the game, you get the banner. I missed the first 3 banners: banner for year 1, banner for year 2, and banner for year 3. I missed those. I started in year 4. So I have the red year 4 banner. And as far as I've been playing for 2.5, 3 years now, this game. And at the end of the round, if you do the most damage or do the most healing or get the most mercenaries, the game will award you MVP in your own screen, and it will show your character, your banner, and your accomplishments for that round.
Okay.
And I have only seen myself personally, I've only seen one other person with a year 4 banner. And you can select any banner you want. There are lots of them. And I've only once seen a year 3 banner. I know there's a 1 and 2, but I've never seen them. And that's the only thing I would kick myself in the ass for, because when it first came out, I was playing World of Warcraft like crazy. And when it first came
okay.
out, when it first came out, they said, "Hey, you should play this as well." And I was like, I never played 2 games at once. And I kicked myself for that, because if I would have gotten there earlier, my account would be a lot more legendary by having those first 3 banners.
I have never been concerned about cosmetics. Like
Really?
I will just use the default appearance for everything.
Well, the thing about the skins is they're not just appearance. There's a lot that goes along with them. If you pick a skin, you get other attributes as well. Like there's have you ever played Diablo?
Yeah.
Diablo has a character that's a demon hunter. Her name is Vala. Well, of course, as a franchise, she's also in Heroes of the Storm. And her typical cowl with armor and suede boots, suede knee-high boots, that's her base skin. But there's other skins. There's one skin that has like a cowhide leather chaps with a pink top, and instead of having a dueling crossbows, she has a pistol and a sawed-off shotgun. And when you play her, she shoots. It's fire. It's not. You don't hear the sound of an arrow because it's not an arrow. Now it's a gun. So I like, when I'm playing, I like the sound of the gun. I can hear it in battle much better than I can hear the whoop of a crossbow. So it gives me a little bit of an audio advantage. So I always had that skin. Now I've managed.
If there's like an advantage to a certain skin,
Yeah.
then I'll use it. Like if you know there was like a red and green skin that, like, to my colorblind eyes I couldn't see, then obviously I would switch off that one if that was the default.
Right.
But if there's like no gameplay implications, whatever the default is fine.
Yeah. Yeah. Another example would be Sylvanas from World of Warcraft. She's in Heroes of the Storm as well. And she has a default World of Warcraft look to her. But during Christmas, they came out with a Christmas skin for her, and it has fairy wings behind her. Now, her dance is the dance from Beetlejuice that Claudia uses. Claudia is the girl with the black bobbed haircut.
You say Claudia, I think of Brown.
Yeah, me too. But she flies at the end of the movie. She lifts up in the air and she starts doing this. Jump in the line, rock your body in time. Okay, I believe it. She does this little dance where she's up in the air. Well, they took that dance and gave it to Sylvanas. When she has the wings flitter, and it looks like the wings lift her off the ground instead of just rising for no apparent reason. So the little things like that are kind of cute. You don't actually hear the music, but you just see the dance and you can recognize it. So we got way off topic here, didn't we?
Yeah. No, but there's been times where I've changed from the default settings, typically because of gameplay, where you know those match 3 color games? I was playing one and I literally could not tell the difference between yellow and green. So I had to go into the options and change the color palette to one that I could actually differentiate. Otherwise, I couldn't play the game.
World of Warcraft has a colorblind mode. You just click a box and it changes the colors for you. Because some people are blue colorblind, some people are red and green colorblind. So yeah, some people are blue, purple, pink. They can't tell the difference between those guys, or red. So yeah, it just changes the colors enough so you can tell the difference between them if you're colorblind. So I think HUTS probably has that too. I'm not colorblind, so I don't know, but I think it does. I know World of Warcraft does because I've accidentally clicked it a few times. It's right near another setting. They're right next to each other. The setting that you have to change.
I think they might have added one, but when I played The Witcher 3, I couldn't find the colorblind settings, and it actually made certain parts of the game not unplayable, but way more difficult than it was intended to be. Like, follow the trail of blood. Okay, you mean the red blood on the green grass? Yeah, I'll get right on that.
You mean the gray splotches on the green on the gray blades? Yeah, I could be able to tell those apart.
So what I had to do was in the game, you can like meditate to make the time pass from like daylight to nighttime.
Mm-hmm.
I could only do those missions at nighttime because there was less glare from the sun. So like in the darkness, I could just make out the red on the green. In daytime, I couldn't see anything.
Yeah, I'll have to take a look sometime when I'm playing the game. I've played all my hots for the day, so I don't have any quests to do. But I'll have to take a look and see if there's I'm pretty sure there's a colorblind mode. I think that's a Blizzard. Every game has it kind of thing because they're all Blizzard. So I don't know. So we have 2 categories left. We have Ohio Dawn and Hot and Cold.
I think Jen should pick because she's been fairly quiet during the video game discussion.
Well, you guys were handling it. It was a different video game discussion, so I was like, okay,
No, I'm just saying because you haven't had a chance to talk much. I think you can pick the next topic.
Do you play video games? I think I probably asked you this before.
Well, I don't think I play the same ones you guys do, but yeah, certainly. Like I played.
Would either of you play Hogwarts Legacy?
I already have.
Oh, you have?
A little bit. Yeah, I mean, I haven't completed much of it, but I played first section of it, and it's okay.
Have you played it, Terry?
I have no interest in Harry Potter, so I didn't see any reason to buy it.
Oh, okay. Well, what was it like, Jen?
It's very much Hogwarts. I question how much the game devs know about the era of the game, because you are running around Hogwarts, and I question the era. Like, Hogsmeade is probably the only town in England that is 100% all wizarding. And it's supposed to be, I think the era is supposed to be between like the 1700s and the 1800s. Like, it's a couple hundred years ago. The idea being that you're
pre-Harry, though, isn't it?
This is pre-Dumbledore.
Oh, okay. Whoa. Okay.
So, like, not so pre-Dumbledore that he's not about to arrive, but it's pre-Dumbledore. Phileas Black is the headmaster. That's the era they're in. So if you know any Harry Potter
before Sirius.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Well before Sirius.
Gotcha.
Well before Sirius. So like this is an older school. So the reason I'm not so much perfectionist that I need to have the era be that accurate. It's just some of the stuff that they throw in sounds like somebody who doesn't know what they're talking about. So that part of it throws me off a little bit. But, I ran around and I made jokes. I even told some jokes to Eve. I was like, listen, you'd probably have some fun with this game. It's just a wizarding school. It's not anti anything. They cater to anybody. It's an open world. So like most open worlds, it caters to pretty much everyone. It's also fairly gay, actually. Like a lot of Harry Potter stuff, it's actually fairly gay. I'm just saying that JK has never really been anti-gay. She's just got her own views on the biology aspect of the conversation. Yeah, she has this belief in biology. It's like
but she's actually a TERF, because normally when they call someone a TERF, they're not even a feminist. Like they forget what the RF in TERF actually means. But Rowling is actually a feminist. So it actually does apply to her.
Yeah, she actually is a feminist. And that's why she's so strong about this, because she sees trans people as stepping on the toes of her feminist women.
Yeah.
I don't think it's necessarily that. I think that's more Rosie Parker's influence on her conversation. If you actually look into a lot of the people that they're arguing with, like the people they're actually arguing with, some of them are kind of vile. They aren't Eve. They aren't Blair White. Some of these people are off their rocker in terms of where they're coming from. Like I did my own dive into some of the conversations, and I broke down in front of Eve and cried a little bit, because a lot of the stuff that I was seeing was vile. It was an actual attack on the conversation. So I'm going to say exactly what I said the last time I talked about J.K. Rowling. A lot of her position when it came to the trans community is that when it comes to places, spaces where women are going for safety reasons, like, they're fleeing an abusive relationship, not saying that men shouldn't have spaces like that too, they should. She actually agrees with men on that, if they need a safe space from an abusive relationship, they should have one too. She just thinks they should be separated. Even if you are somebody who's transitioning as a female, it should still be separated. The reasoning being that she's been through that. A lot of the people that she's talking with, like the feminists coming from her side, have been through that. Do I necessarily believe all women? I don't. But when you are actually registered and you do have that, and you're talking to somebody who's like not listening, hey, yo, I see myself as a woman. It's like, actually, somebody with a traumatic experience might actually not want to see a penis. They might disregard the other stuff that you're talking about and be like, listen, you're not listening to my side either. And all I can see is somebody with a penis who's being very aggressive. And that both things can all be true. Maybe I sound like a
only
turf.
one correct opinion. The left has it, and we will agree with that if we want to stay on YouTube.
Oh, well, I also agree with understanding that people come from different spaces. And I couldn't imagine being from the space of that one, because I've never been there. I've never been raped. Maybe I'm in that position where I question more people because I haven't been. But when I know that you've registered and you've done all this stuff, and it is true, because I do have friends who were raped. My friend who passed away, the reason she had 2 children was non-consensual. She was on the streets. She kept her kids because she wanted something in her life to have some meaning to her. Not everybody's like that. But I'm just saying people get raped. It is a thing. I'm not like saying, I don't like saying this word on the internet either, because I know Susan has rules against it.
Yeah,
I'm pretty
you
sure.
want to use grape instead of.
Yeah, I'm sorry, Susan. Ixnay on that one, because I know better. Even though we're not projecting ourselves to children anyway. Hopefully,
Nope.
Don't play us to your kids.
One of our
no, I
prior.
disagree.
One of our
This is a great channel for all your children. Johnny, especially, you get the Hellions listening in. Very good for them.
When I went to set up the stream tonight, I went into the Minions YouTube channel, and I clicked on creator content, and I was presented with a pop-up that said, your recent broadcast was age restricted 18 plus. We just thought, you're not getting a strike, but we age restricted this video. And I was like, wasn't me this time. It was the first thing that came to my mind. It was not my fault, because it was a weekend stream. I don't know if it was a Friday, Saturday, or Sunday. I don't remember what night it was, but I didn't play it or investigate it or even care, because as long as it doesn't strike us, I don't give a shit.
I mean, technically, it's bad for visibility, but I don't think we don't worry about that too much.
Yeah, we don't spend any time worrying about visibility.
Well, it's not about that. Like, I don't want to cause problems with our channel just for speaking from my emotions. Like, the fact that they target people for saying words when they're obviously speaking from emotions. I've never been there. But as somebody with the ability to put myself into somebody else's boots, which I'm sure a man could even do, even though you could never experience that kind of assault from that angle, I'm sure you could still place yourself into somebody else's boots and understand why that's a horrible thing to have somebody go through that. But the thing is when somebody is trying to gaslight you into why they need to be in your space, and they've already told you those are the reasons why you can't be in that space, and you're still wheedling, that's abusive. That's abuse. That's the first sign that you might not be welcome in this space anymore.
Well, the thing that seems to have gotten her in the most trouble is she said straight out that a trans woman is still a man.
They are.
Which
I know, but that's what got her in trouble.
I know. She probably had a hard time coming to that point too. Like, just flat out saying it probably hurt her a little bit, because she's always trying to come from this angle of trying to be kind to everyone, or at least she did in the beginning. Like that was kind of part of the reason I was calling her out.
Kind of
Was
door
because,
now.
yeah, well,
She's gotten kind of mean.
She has, and I think it's because she's had her hand bitten so much by these people. I'm just saying yet again, there is a huge difference in the response from this group. When I disagreed with J.K. Rowling on her views, because I don't agree with her on all her views, I didn't burn my books. I didn't trash talk her work. I didn't go after her. I didn't stalk her. I didn't dox her family. I might have joked with responses at the stupid things I thought she was saying, because I do believe in debate. I do believe in calling out your differences of opinion. I'm all for that. In fact, I think she was for it too. She seemed to have a fun time with it on her end. But from this group, all I've seen is some of the most abusive behavior when it comes to how they're behaving with this. And they're saying that they're doing this on behalf of the trans community. I don't know a single trans person who's happy with them doing this.
Yeah.
You know, there's even some of them who are like, "Oh, this is an act of the right." I'm like, "No, this is your side."
Yeah, I saw that tweet today. Now that you mention it.
I'm like, "No, this is your side." Not calling out your weirdos for their bad behavior, which I am happy to do. As somebody who doesn't, I don't know if I'm not Republican. I'm not American, so I can't claim that. But conservative, yes, I can claim that. You know, I'm also the believer of weaving when it comes to politics, because sometimes you have to weave a little bit to really get what you need done. That doesn't mean I'm a traitor to either side. It's more of like anything I can do to actually get some of the work that needs to get done in my own country, let alone yours. That's who I would like to vote for, to be all honesty. I don't give a shit if they're conservative or liberals. Nobody's doing anything other than screwing us all over. So, you know?
Yeah. I often say that I'm a centrist, but I don't think I'm a conservative. I'm definitely, but I'm not a progressive either. So all I can do is try to claim the middle ground, because I don't see myself as either one of those extremes. And they're not that they're extreme, but polar opposites, or two sides of the coin. The coin sits on the side, on its edge for me. I can't commit completely to either one of them, because I see problems with both sides. So
yeah,
I think most people are in the middle on, like, if you take like an overview of everyone's political opinions, most people would average to somewhere in the middle, like a little bit left, a little bit right, but very few people are actually on the fringes.
Maybe classic liberal, because I'm definitely on the side of the working man. But even things like that, like I guess I'm on the conservative side because I'm pro-life, right?
Mm-hmm.
That would make me conservative, but then I fully believe and support Social Security, so that makes me on the left,
right?
You know, so it's like there's no slot for me specifically.
No, I don't think. I think everyone would find that anyone who is thinking for themselves and not just, well, my side says I have to think this way. If you're actually making your own opinions, you're going to find you're right wing on some issues, left wing on others. You know, indifferent towards others.
I'm going to virtue sig a little bit here and say that I think it's harder for Americans because we only get two choices. You're either left or you're right, and that's it. You know, most other countries, both of your countries, Australia and Canada, both have more than two choices. You guys don't realize how lucky you are.
On paper, but realistically, Labor or Liberal are the only two that are going to win.
It's not just that. It's also that even if you do split up the parties, they're still left or right. They're just different choices of the left or the right. I get what you're saying, but if you're looking for that with more accuracy, you're looking more at Europe. And even then, half the time, they're just more parties that are just left or right. but at least you have something that differentiates them a little bit from each other.
Yeah.
So you've got more of like, I kind of prefer this type of conservative, or I prefer this type of liberal. You know, when they say middle of the ground, it's like I said, it's this understanding that, yeah, there's bits and pieces that I agree with on both ends, but there's also the people that I'm aware of who right now are happy to sell you anything, because the thing that they want more than anything is power. And it doesn't matter what they'll do anything to get it. They'll say anything they want to get it. And then they're going to do fuck all with it. Or they're going to be abusive with it, which is what they've been doing for the last 40 years. It doesn't benefit us outside of, you know, the day-to-day stuff they use to blind you from what they've taken from us. And I'm sorry, I am looking at my ancestors and I'm looking at us now, and I'm like, I'm aware that we have more of a population problem, but we've gone downhill a lot. We just have.
Well,
For me,
most
it
of
was
that's
easy.
Trudeau.
I voted for One Nation because everyone says they're racist, and like, sounds good to me.
Trolling. You have to deal with Trudeau. See, you and I have more in common than we do with Terry. The leaders in charge right now are actively ruining our countries. You know, they're intentionally trying to ruin things. I don't think that's what's happening in Australia. I think they're kind of coasting and they're okay. Am I wrong?
Well, I think the newest prime minister is probably one of the bad ones, but I haven't paid enough attention to Australian politics to really know, because I live on Twitter, and Twitter doesn't really talk about Australian politics all that much.
Yeah, well, American centric.
Yeah.
That's just Americans being Americans again. Well, I don't know. You're dealing with Trudeau. He's running the country into the ground, taking everyone's guns away from them. And, you know, I just had a guy telling me about how great Canada was. And I said, well, have fun getting run over by horses if that's what you like. You know?
Yeah.
But it's not like we're not getting the same thing, too. I mean, just about every...
Or executed for having the sniffles.
It just having every company in the United States burning to the ground for some reason. I don't know what the hell's going on there. You've heard of all that, right? All these countries, chicken farms. There's a metal factory that was on fire. It's just all of these things that produce stuff that we need every day. They're all just starting to catch fire for some for some reason, and nobody seems to know what the fuck's going on.
Yeah, that's a good slide into the Ohio thing, because I was concerned about that. I still am concerned about that. And believe it or not, I looked it up because I was like pretty sure that there's absolutely streams and rivers that connect from there to our Great Lakes up here, because we share Great Lakes up too. And I was like, oh, look, it's just like back when we got those fish. And it's not like we didn't fix the fish. I don't even know if we fixed the fish because that was a rumor. But, you know, the fish that were just flying upstream because they were foreign and invasive.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's like that again. And they're I am sorry. I get that there's a company who doesn't want to be sued to high hell, but I don't care about the lawsuits. I actually genuinely am concerned for the people, which you should be, because you don't just blink an eye at somebody and be like, oh, I'm sorry, we don't have the funds to give a shit about your cat that just died 2 days ago. That's 2 years old. That has traces that the doctors can confirm came from my plant. And then not address it and be like, I'm really sorry for your loss. At the very least, say, I'm sorry for your loss. I
think the internet has ruined me. Every time I hear loss, I think of the stupid webcomic.
Well, it's just a cat, Terry, but it's still somebody's family member. And it's a little, it's who you're a cat. Farm of foxes.
There's a meme called Loss. And every time I hear the word loss, I think of the meme rather than anything else.
Yeah, right now it's hitting the animals first. And that speed at which it's hitting them does make me nervous. I'm not that type of biologist in any sense of the word either. I just creepy stuff be creepy. just creepy stuff be creepy. And if you're not talking about why it's happening or what's going on, yeah, people are going to hype it up mentally. So what could be something that's being handled is not being shown as being handled because the people who could be talking aren't talking, and they're not talking because they don't want a lawsuit, because it did look like a scary nuke from the clouds above, just.
Yeah. Well, that accident where a train was derailed because it hit an 18-wheeler. It turns out that the driver, I think I mentioned this last week, the driver of that truck was killed in that accident. So that seems to me like that is definitely an accident. It doesn't, I can't see any way that could be on purpose. Nobody sacrifices their life, kind of deal. It's just, that's just too far. It's not something Americans would do in general. So I don't believe that it was any kind of psyop or anything like that. I think this guy just got on the tracks and the train came through, and that's an old baseball phrase. That's from
I think you should have taken off your tinfoil hat. I think you need to put it back on, otherwise you'll get brainwashed into believing the next thing is an accident too.
Well, that one seems like an accident. The other ones are just, there's no explanation. Nobody's coming back and saying it started because of this. It started here because of this. This happened and it started because there's no information coming out. It happened and move on. Then no one ever says why. There's no report. There's nothing comes from it to tell you what's going on. And when you keep doing that, you got to think, well, there's got to be a reason that they're not telling me why. What's the reason? Is it intentional? I don't know.
I think that's why the people in that town are at least trying to start things. Some of them. I think some people might be hyped up because, lack of information will do that too. But some of them are at least in the sense of documenting everything they've got right now. Starting from the day that they had before, going on forward, to the best of your abilities, because in all honesty, everybody should be doing that. Like anybody, I'm not speaking as an anti-vaxxer. I'm saying this is somebody who, the minute I took the 2, I was like, at the very least, I'm going to document what I've got right now and just hope that I don't get anything else. And to be fair, I don't think I will. I never thought I would, but just in case, for legal reasons, I thought I should document it. Because the minute I realize somebody's not being honest with me, and now I'm in a loop of not knowing where I'm at in terms of my own health or the health of the people around me, I'd start documenting it. Don't hype it up. Don't make up shit. Just write down in a diary what you saw. Take pictures of things if you're a little concerned. The guy with the foxes should go into a hell of a lawsuit. If I get some money, I will donate to his, because I'm sorry, I'm a sucker for fur babies. I can't help it. These poor baby foxes.
Fur babies.
I know they're foxes. They're not. He has nothing to do with the their existence. But you love them like they're your kids.
No, I understand. I just think it's a funny phrase.
It is. It's also been weird. It's been made weird by certain groups. They've made it weird. It was never meant to go that weird. It was really just meant to be like, you're kind of like that kid that I didn't ever have, only better behaved, and you don't talk back as much.
Well, I think it's really cool that Trump is there before everybody else. He's there before Biden. He's there before Buttigieg, and he's already donating cleaning supplies and water and things to make the people in Ohio a little bit better. He is acting like FEMA. I mean, he's not having people move into apartments. He's not doing that kind of stuff, but he is giving them some relief that, Biden's over in Ukraine, doing his party route, and ignoring a problem here at home. So this makes him look really, really, really bad. That Trump could get there first. You would think that the president and Buttigieg.
Biden could. He just doesn't care.
Right. And Buttigieg was caught by a reporter walking to his car or something along that lines, or walking his dog, and she said, Trump's going there. Are you planning to go there? And he stopped and yeah, we're going to go there. Just don't know when we're going to actually. And he was just like, caught by surprise and realized he was on camera. So he had
Yeah.
to say something to make it sound like he had planned like to do this all along. But
Right.
he hadn't made any public announcement that he was planning on doing this all along. So she caught him flat-footed, and I guess he's going to go now, but it's
But
too
he's
late.
got to.
He has to.
I saw a web comic where someone had a picture of Pete Buttigieg, and he's like looking at like the rainbow water in Ohio, and he's like, "We made the river gay," and he's like very happy and like proud of himself.
Did you see that video where someone was boiling water and it was foaming around the sides of the boiling water? Yeah, the foam. They were boiling water, I guess, to make it drinkable. And around the outside where it met the pan or the pot, whatever. Even if you just take water and boil it, you'll get that. You'll get but it's what she got was very synthetic as opposed to just water that boiled. So you can tell the difference. It was bubbles that weren't really going away. When you boil something, the bubbles move out to the outside, then they end up going away unless you have it up really high.
I saw a few videos where they would like scrape the bottom of the river, like just to disrupt the bottom, and then all the chemicals would came right up to the top, and it's like, don't drink from that river.
No, it was like a stream or something, wasn't it? Yeah, I saw that too.
And that's part of where my problem is the fact that they're ignoring it. They're not addressing it. That is going to be the criminal. It's not that it might be an accident. I can accept that it was an accident. You just said so.
Mm-hmm.
That, the report had a dude who's now dead. Probably didn't want to die that way. But the lack of response is the part that's horrifying me more, because I know they put out some stuff to fix it. But we live in an era, believe it or not, where we can do more now to fix it now. It's not going to fix it the whole way. It's still going to take years for it to recover, but it would do more now.
Yeah. That's why I like the fact that Trump actually did something. He did it now when people want it now. And he got a big reception, too, when he got there.
Because these people keep talking about how bad they care about the environment, but then you have an environmental disaster that's an accident. Okay, it was an accident, and then you're not doing anything about it. And I'm like, you can't sit there and say you give a shit about the environment. You can't. Not when we live in the side of the world where we can't actually respond to things like that. It's not going to fix everything, but it would at least. I'm glad that he's doing something.
Assassin says, Hammer, no. Petey, booty giggle. I thought mine was good. Booty judge. I guess someone who judges booties. But booty giggle is pretty good too. Danced around the answer and demanded to get the reporter's name for later payback. From the internet, embattled Transportation Secretary Pete Buttigieg said Tuesday he will travel to Ohio when the time is right to review the devastation. So he didn't make a specific, I'm going to go there on a Friday. He didn't give a date, but he said when the time is right. I don't know why the time is not right now, because it seemed like the time was right now for Trump, but why it isn't right now for Buttigieg. Maybe he wants to take some time off and cuddle his kid or something like that. But the fact that Trump beat him, and he says, that they want to get the reporter's name so they can get back at them later. Maybe he's getting, I'll give him the benefit of the doubt. Maybe he's getting the name because that way, when he does have a date that he's going to be, he can send it to this reporter so that they have something to report on. Maybe it's innocent. I don't know. But I did hear him ask her.
I would assume not. If the government does something, assume ill intention. Just flat rule.
Yeah. I mean, I can understand that, but would you say something obviously retaliatory on camera? Because the camera's right there. It's right in his face. He knows he's being recorded. So if he's going to record, if he's going to be, if he knows that, is he going to say something that's going to get him in trouble? I won't say.
He's going to say something that's ambiguous enough that he can claim he didn't mean it that way.
Yeah. Well, you really don't want to go up against a reporter, because then that reporter puts out a report of how he did that. They have an audience too. Reporters have an audience too, depending what paper they came from. If it was just a little small town paper, maybe not. But if she's there, I didn't remember who she was from. But if she's there from the New York Times, well, she could publish an article saying Pete Buttigieg blackmailed me. They got a readership. And I think even the Times would back their reporter in that situation and say, yeah, go ahead, publish it. But
I would like to think that, but I've just lost all faith in all institutions at this point. So.
I know what you mean. It's definitely the same thing with me. I was commenting on one of John Campbell's streams, and I said, we have, obviously they're lying directly to our face, and there's no reason for me to believe the medical community anymore. And I posted that to his last video, because his video is about what the UK, how changes to what Omicron's doing are not being reflected in UK policy. They're still saying stuff like, take the jab, not because it helps you, but because it helps other people. They're still on that same thing where they think it's going to stop transmission. And it's already been established by several places now that that was never even tested. So
maybe the mutated version that Pfizer is making, maybe that one, it stops the transmission of that one. That's why you need the new vaccine.
Yeah, I made it a point to type in a reply to the video where he was showing that you can't really believe companies, you can't believe the government, you can't believe medical anymore, because they're all lying to you. They're all corrupt.
Yes.
So, at the local level, it seems like things are still okay. It's just the people up top, the elites who are running things, that don't care about people.
They really don't.
If I go to my doctor and I sit down to talk to him, he wants to hear what my problems are, and he seems genuinely interested, and he asks me questions along the line. So he's listening, and he wants to determine what's wrong. But I think if you go to the hospital and look at their management, they'll be happy to kick someone out who's sick if it meets the financial benefit for them,
Oh, of course. So, they don't give a shit about people.
Yeah. So that's the tough part. Who do you trust?
Well, you can't trust anyone, which is the problem.
Well, like I said, my local doctor, it's PCP, right? PCP. I think that's the term. My local doctor, I trust him. So just because he is my local doctor, and the way he treats me and the way he does, and he follows up and he does everything right, so I trust him. But once I move on to a specialist or something like that, I start getting pretty antsy pretty quick. Because I don't know those people. It's different
if you know the person. Like if you've had the same doctor for a long time,
I have,
and you know that they're on the level with you, that's one thing.
Yeah.
If it's the first time you're seeing a doctor, because you go to a medical center where you just get whatever doctor happens to be free, you've never met them before, then treat with suspicion.
Yeah. Johnny Hellcat's in chat.
Hey, Johnny.
Johnny is our Thursday host. Welcome to chat.
And just to let you know, it is the 1 hour mark, so I don't know if Jen needs
9:59 and 59 seconds. Yeah. How you doing, Jen?
I was just thinking that. I'm like, I think we could go a little bit longer if you want to finish the conversation.
Okay.
I think we could,
Yeah, you can have an alarm for that too.
Actually, it's set for 10 o'clock, but not because of the stream. I'm taking medication. I have to take it 4 times a day.
Oh, yep.
So I take
Yep,
it
yep.
10 in the morning, 10 in the afternoon, 4 in the morning, and 4 in the afternoon. So it just happens to coincide with the end of the stream. It wasn't intentional.
Yeah, that's it.
Anybody
No, that's okay.
recognize this? Anybody recognize the song?
I wasn't paying attention to it.
No, that was
Don't do it. Don't do it. Yeah, I recognize it all right. I work in retail though.
it's Natalie Imbruglia Torn.
Oh, that's a good song.
Yeah, it's my ringtone for medication. It starts off nice, and I have to get up at 4 in the morning to take my medication. I don't want something that just goes just that jumps me out of bed. I don't want that. And this song kind of starts soft, so I was like, all right, that'll work for me.
You didn't change it to the Edna Swap version?
I've only heard that version on YouTube, and
Yeah, me too.
I think if I downloaded it and played it through VLC has a EQ, and I have the EQ set to boost the bass a little bit and that kind of thing. I think it would sound a lot better, but it just sounds too mid-range just listening to it on YouTube.
Fair enough.
And it's not
I
bad.
mean, no one knows that version anyway. Natalie Imbruglia is the only one anyone actually knows.
Yeah. I saw a video of somebody dancing to the song, and they stopped dancing because the text on the screen says, "The moment you realize that Torn is a remake," or something like this, something along that lines. It's not remake. What's the word I'm looking for? Huh?
It's a cover.
Cover, yeah. You realize that Torn is a cover, because Edna Swap did it. That was the original artist. So, if you go out on YouTube and type in Edna Swap, it's EDNASWAP, just like it sounds. Torn. You can play it, and it's not a bad version. It's just, it's more garage band. You know, it's not such a highly polished, finished product that you get from Natalie. So,
I mean, I like both versions because I grew up in the 90s. I've got a fairly high appreciation for the grungy sound. So I don't have a problem with it sounding like a garage band at all. But I do get that Natalie Imbruglia is much more like produced.
yes.
And,
it's more melodic too.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not just a garage band with guitars and a drum and a bass, and that's it. It's got strings, it's got piano, it's got, you know, all of the instruments, backup vocals and all that. So, I mean, yeah, it's very polished by comparison. But yeah, you're right. I still do like the Edna Swap version. Even though I was born in the 60s, my background goes back further. I still listen to, you know, Eve 6 and Stiff Little Fingers and, you know, Green Day. There's plenty of garage bands that I like too, you know. So, I mean, I'm not stuck in the time period where I was first listening to music, listening to Hendrix and
you know what song surprised me? You know Venus by Bananarama? The original version by Shocking Blue is actually not terrible. Like,
no,
it's actually
not.
a decent song.
It is a decent song.
If you listen to the original, it's good. And then like there's the Bananarama, which is like very, very poppy and
it was danceable, right? The first one's not quite so danceable.
No.
The bass line.
I like Shocking Blue's version a lot more.
Yeah, the Shocking Blue version has a very standard bass line, where the one from Bananarama. Get till it's 10 o'clock. It spends a lot of time climbing the scale up and down. It's very poppy. Yeah.
Yeah.
You'd be surprised at how many songs are remakes. There's a couple of videos I watched where they were just talking about how songs were remade from other songs. And they said, you might recognize this song. And it was something that was, you know, current. And they said, it was actually a remake of this. And they play that, and it's and then they said, but that's not the original. And they go back even further, and someone else had actually done it. It's like, holy crap, how many people have covered this over time? And if you look at Wikipedia of songs, you'll see how many people have covered it since. Like,
do you think You Can't Touch This counts as a remake of Super Freak?
No, it's a sample of Super Freak.
It's a big sample.
Pretty sample, yeah. It was the same for.
It's basically the entire.
It's like Ice Ice Baby is a Bowie song.
Yeah.
Yeah, or
I
Queen.
think Queen,
Yeah, Queen.
and David Bowie. Yeah.
Yeah,
Under Pressure.
yeah. So I mean, there's a lot of songs that are sampled and some are rip-offs, but to just take the exact words. I mean, there's songs like who Ace of Base is, right?
Yeah.
You've heard that name, Jen. You've heard that name before, Ace of Base.
Yeah. Yeah.
They took a song that they produced and put out on an album, and in the next album they took and changed all the words, but had exactly the same music.
That's cheating.
It's like, and the reason they did it is because it was done after the 9/11 attacks. Before 9/11, they did it this way, and then they changed it and did lyrics that they don't say specifically 9/11, but it was done like a dedication to 9/11. Because the first one, the lyrics were about a man and woman and their relationship, and the second one was about facing adversity and rising above it and don't let it get you down, kind of deal. So they changed the words to match, but they released it and they made money off it. So, but if you play them, they start the same, they end the same. The music, the notes, the key, everything's exactly the same. It's just the words that have changed.
I feel like South Park called that one out too when they were calling out the stairwell to heaven, and not exploiting the stairwell to heaven.
Another one that caught me off guard was "We're Not Gonna Take It" by Twisted Sister.
We're not gonna take it.
Yeah.
No.
If you listen to Twisted Sister's Christmas album, and they've got "Oh Come All Ye Faithful," and you realize it is the same as "We're Not Gonna Take It."
Really?
And
Come all you faithful. Oh, come all you faithful.
No, it's the same tune.
That's funny.
But like obviously they added guitar solos and shit like that to make it more of a rock song. But the sort of the underlying song is "Oh Come All Ye Faithful."
That's terrible. But it's funny. I mean, there's a lot of songs that have the same chords. I mean, what was that Australian band? There's an Australian band who did, one of their acts was they listed all these songs that all had the same 4 chords.
Is that the Scared Weird Little Guys?
It's a really small piano player, a fat lead singer.
Oh, was it Tripod?
And it's a really tall, there's 3 guys, and it's a really tall.
Yeah, I think that was Tripod.
No, that's not the name of the group. But they are from Australian because a lot of the songs that they point out as being 4-chord songs are Australian songs. Like Pictures was one of them. And what was the one about the bag?
Little Green Bag.
No, it's take your bag to the supermarket is one of the lines in the lyrics.
Oh, okay. No, I don't know.
JB and Dr. Funkenstein are going with Men at Work.
No, it's not Men at Work.
No.
I come from the land down under. No, I don't think it's that one either.
Let me just do a quick look up on go out to YouTube, and it's Axis of Awesome. That's the name of the group.
Axis what?
Axis, AXIS, Axis of Awesome is the name of the group.
Okay.
And if you go out to YouTube and you type in Axis of Awesome 4-chord song, they play like 15 songs in a row. And there's songs that you wouldn't think are 4-chord songs are like Lady Gaga, the Beatles. I mean, they're all the same 4 chords. He starts off with Journey and hits a whole bunch of them in a row. And some of them are a little faster and slower, so they move faster as they go along. But,
I've got the list here. It says, Journey, Don't Stop Believing.
Right.
James Blunt, You're Beautiful. The Black Eyed Peas, Where Is the Love? Alphaville, Forever Young. Jason Mraz, I'm Yours. Train, Hey Soul Sister. The Calling, Wherever You Will Go. I mean, okay, so there's like 50 songs. I won't go through the whole list.
Is it that many?
Yeah. But like songs in the official music video, and it goes down to 47. And then it says other songs that have been played in the medley, and then there's another 36.
Oh my God. It's not a very long video though. It's live.
Yeah.
And one of the songs is Take On Me is one of the songs in that list. And the little guy sings it and he hits the high note. Which I don't know if you know the song, but there's a point in it where
I do.
Yeah, where he has to hit a really, really high point, and this guy hits it, and the crowd claps because I mean, it's a guy.
Yeah.
I mean, it's hard for anybody to do, let alone a guy, even if you have a high voice.
Most cover versions don't even try to hit
Right.
the high note.
Right. I don't even know if the guy's, that guy is not a young spring chicken anymore. I don't know if at his age he can still hit that high note anymore. Because your voice goes as you get older.
I know Ninja Sex Party did a cover of Take On Me.
Really?
And Danny just doesn't even try and hit the note. He's like, no, I know my limits. I'm just going to sing it as a normal note.
Wow. I guess if you move down the scale enough, then that high note isn't so high anymore. But you have to start the song down here to start, be able to sound kind of silly. All right. So 10 after, I think we should probably call it a night. I'm starting to fade myself.
Right.
I'm usually pretty awake, but this medication I'm taking kind of beats my immune system up a little bit. It kind of it's an infection that's deep inside the body. So your body doesn't pay too much attention to it, and it gets worse unless you take this medication. And this medication you can build up a resistance to. And because you're focusing your body on this embedded deep in the body infection, when the medication says no, fight this, your body puts all of it into it. So you like I'm sluggish all day and all that kind of stuff. It's not too bad. I've certainly been on medications that were a lot worse. But it's called vancomycin. It's one of the mycins. There's a whole bunch of mycins, but anyway, I've taken it before in liquid form, and I'll tell you, man, it is the most disgusting medication you've ever had to taste. I was going to say in your mouth, but that sounds sexual. It's just the worst tasting. Thankfully, my doctor says, "Oh, there's a pill version of that now." No, I'm taking pills. Lucky me. Capsules. Time release capsules. So, yeah. So I've been trying to stifle yawns as I'm going along. Not that the conversation hasn't been enthralling, and I'm enjoying watching what the people in chat say. Thank you, Devil Fruit Zero. I hope to feel better soon.
Yeah.
To give you an idea of how long this took last time with the liquid medication, 2 16-ounce cans of Coke are basically the amount I had to take to get rid of this.
I don't know how much an ounce is, but I'll assume that's big.
You know what a can of Coke is, right?
Yeah, I know how much a can is.
Yeah, I think 2 of those cans is the amount of liquid vancomycin I had to take.
Okay, so
Yeah.
a can is 375 down here, but I don't know if you've got the 330 ml ones. No, it doesn't matter.
So, all right. Anything else before we get out of here?
Jen?
No, not really.
All right, let's get Jen into bed. That sounded bad too. I don't know what I'm doing tonight for some reason.
You should call your girlfriend. Be like, have a date. Be like, want to go on a date.
This is all. God, I'm going to say it, and no one's going to believe me, but this is all entirely innocent. I didn't plan this. Oh man, that's terrible. Well, anyway, short outro. Now that we've reached our ability to stream on Rumble, I was able to remove all that from our outro. So let me go through it real quick. Thanks everybody, as always, for chatting with us tonight. If you can't wait for the next Wednesday's show, remember the Minions are live every evening, including weekends, with most shows starting around 11:30 p.m. Eastern, 7 days a week. Host and start times are listed in the description down below. We will be back next Wednesday at 9 p.m. as usual. I hope everybody enjoyed the show, and we'll see you again next week. Have a great night, everyone.
Bye, guys.
Good night, everybody.